I adjusted the slots in the nut so that the strings are at a good height. What I'd look for on the base side is a clearance of about 8/1000ths of an inch. If I push down on the second fret, I want that clearance at the first fret. And on the treble strings, I'm looking for a clearance of about 6/1000ths of an inch. So then after that, I trimmed off the excess ivory from the top so that the strings only sit down about half of their diameter into the slots. If you have the strings too deep in the slots, they are more likely to catch as you're trying to adjust the tuning. So then I polished it up. I don't know if that really shows here, but the ivory really takes a lovely shine. So that's the nut. And on the saddle, I adjusted the height so that I have an action at the 12th fret of 3/32 on the bass string and 5/64ths of an inch on the treble string. So once I got the height adjusted, made sure the crown matched the 16-inch radius of the fretboard, then I polished up the saddle. And now I will put these things back in place. The saddle is just a compression fit, of course. The nut will get glued in. Don't want it to move around if anybody starts bending strings. I put the label in before putting all of the strings back on. It's kind of hard to do that once the strings are attached. I'm reaming out the bridge pin holes now. I started out by drilling 13/16" holes, and the pins ride a little high, which doesn't look right. So I have this 5-degree tapered reamer, and just give a couple of turns. And the nice thing about having to ream the holes is the reamer and the pin have the same 5-degree taper, so by the time I'm done reaming, the pin will fit very nicely, a good snug fit, hugging all the edges of the hole as it gets reamed. I'm not a big advocate of the belief that the type of material makes much of a difference to the sound of the guitar, within reason. I mean, I think ebony makes a very good bridge pin, and really the only reason I went with the fossil ivory on this guitar was because I'm thinking of old style instruments, and I don't know, the ivory just sort of seemed more appropriate for this particular application, although I almost always use ebony for bridge pins. Other woods occasionally. This one just seemed like ivory would be the way to go. So what I'm trying to achieve here is to have the pin go into the bridge to just under this little collar that's a part of the machined bridge pin. And these pins are slotted, so the string will ride in this slot on the front of the pin. I've installed the Waverly tuners. I don't know, they're not my favorite tuners. I'm not sure I have any favorite tuners, but they're not my favorite tuners. I'm not sure I have any favorite tuners, but just like with the ivory bone or the ivory nut and saddle and bridge pins, the gold Waverleys just seemed appropriate for this guitar. And since I'm not building it for anybody else, I could do what I wanted to do. So that's what I went with. Well, there it is. I feel like I'm done with it. I got the truss rod cover mounted. It's just an ebony cover to match the peg head. I've got the action set at the 12th fret at 3/32 on the bass string and 5/64 on the treble. I decided to go with a clear pickguard. I'm not a fan of plastic pickguards, the ones that show. And the ones I've seen on 45 style guitars, they tend to not start until outside of the abalone, and that leaves over a ½ inch of exposed wood to get mashed up by a pick. So I was able to bring my pickguard right into the innermost black line, and other than that, it's a traditional teardrop shape. But I figure whoever ends up buying this guitar at some point, if they want a different pickguard, they can always get a different pickguard for it. But this is how I'm going to have it for now. What else? Got the ivory bridge pins and saddle all lined up and polished. I don't know if I had this in before. I put a fossilized ivory end pin on the guitar too. So, as I said, I think it's all done. Now I just need to find somebody willing to play it so people can hear how it sounds. I guess I should tune it up first. So just a few open chords here.
Nice. That's a pretty good first take.
Yeah.
Should we try another one? Let's try a little
guess
longer one.
If you want to.
It's just still running, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try for the longer one. We nailed the first one. We're good.
Yeah.